Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Calvin, We the Species. Um, Boy, I got a lot to say in this monologue. This is officially my Johnny Carson monologue, one of my idols and heroes. And I'm with Steve Peckman, who's a consummate musician, and now he's into film, and we're going to talk about that because this is the first interview I'm doing this year for the Garden State Film Festival, which is March 28th or 26th through the 29th. And I've been doing these interviews for the last couple of years, which I love. I love film. And this, and by the way, Steve and I, we just met, but we've been BSing for the last hour. It's actually one solid hour, just BSing. And we probably would have gone on for a few more hours, but I had to reel this in because we got some work to do here. Uh, so Steve, we're going to talk all about this, and Steve has a movie called Buddha's Bottle. Just kind of holding up and I'm a film guy because a lot of you who know me know that I watched Casablanca and I wrote a novel because I watched Casablanca. So I love, love, love film, and this is just one of the most. It's 3 minutes and 19 seconds actually. See, I remembered. What Steve did here is remarkable and is about as provocative and sensitive. A film takes place in Asbury Park. Steve's a Jersey guy, and just as Dunkin' Donuts spent millions of dollars coming up with a commercial, it's worth the trip. So I say to you folks out there, this is absolutely, kid you not. I'm not saying it because he's over there, but it's really worth the trip. I was privileged to see this, and I watched it a few times in a row, mesmerized. So uh, that's my monologue. And I'm with Steve Peckman now. And Steve, why don't you just say a few words, a little background, a little intro. I know I'm looking at my notes. You're a musician, but you got pharmacy in your background, and of course I was a pharmacist. A lot of chemistry. So you take it away, say a few things,
Sure.
and then we will chat.
Yeah, I'm so a lifetime musician. I have and I come from I come from a pharmacy family background, which is where that comment came from, and I wear it proudly. My nephew is now a fourth generation Peckman pharmacist. My grandfather was a pharmacist. My dad and my uncle were both pharmacists. My brother, and now we have the fourth generation. So. Um, Peckman's Pharmacy in Jersey City is still there. The family is not there anymore, but my dad retired some years ago, nearly 20.
Wow.
But I that was not my brand of science. As it turned out, I did go to pharmacy school 1 year, and after that legendary year, I studied audio engineering, and then went to the University of Miami and was a music industry major, where I majored in music, minored in business. For some decades, I flipped the switch and was a business major and a music minor, kept on playing and kept on recording. But then during the pandemic, I got the opportunity to score two full-length feature films with this just amazing artist named Rock Wilk. And so Rock and I made two films together, documenting his story, and then a dramatization on his story. And we're planning on the third one now, a third film together. But I when I was at the Manhattan Film Festival, seeing our film on a big screen in a room full of strangers, in New York City on a big screen and a proper sound system and everything like that, I said to myself, this was in June of 2024. I said, this is what I need to do for the rest of my life. And so for the last year and a half, I've been a full-time musician, and flipped the switch from being business major and music minor back to being a music major again. So and then in the year and a half since, I've done a couple of short films, including Buddha Bottle, but I've also well, thanks. And also, Here's
Yeah. Wow.
the star of the film.
Wow.
Um, um, have music that's going to be in a documentary that's going to come out later this year, where it's there's music. I didn't score this, but I have music that's going to be in it. There's three different composers. There's me. There's another guitarist named Steve, also from New Jersey, and Philip Glass. So those are the three composers that they selected for the film. But um, and then I'm working on a set of music, and some of it has been released, and some of it isn't yet. But of music for pictures that I haven't seen yet. So there's a whole um, under uh, market of there's a market of underscore music, and so I've done now four complete um, albums for production music libraries, and so that and two of them have been released so far and can be used by production teams to be put into their films. So I could that will add to the list of productions that I'll be involved with.
Wow. I'm taking notes, by the way. If you see me writing, I'm one of the few interviewers who take notes. That's the way I do it. Oh, you too. So we're both taking, I'm writing stuff down. All right, so let's kind of jump into some things. First of all, so musician and composer, what instruments do you play, by the way?
So my native language is woodwinds. So I started playing flute, and then added saxophone and clarinet. And then by the time I was in high school, um, I could cover a Broadway pit musician's read book by myself. So my teacher was a Broadway pit musician, and so you had to be able to play flute, clarinet, and saxophone. And so I was able, by the time I was a freshman in high school, could cover a read book myself. But because of the audio engineering studies and everything like that, I'm a bit of a signal path um, aficionado also, and so I play with a lot of effects, and also I play piano and do some sound design. So you have to be able to be more conversant. But basically, it's flute, sax, clarinet.
Okay. Do
But
you have a recording?
but all of the
Sure.
sonic other stuff that's
Sure.
connected to it.
Do you have a recording studio in your house?
Yeah, I'm actually sitting in it right now.
Okay, I kind of see the microphone over
So
there.
yeah, so have my basement studio. So when the basement was unfinished, I called it Studio B because it was the the basement studio, B for basement. And now that we've done that, we've done the finishing part. I call it Studio B positive. So
Okay.
which is
Um,
also my blood type.
oh, there you go.
So it's
I
the
like that.
whole lifeblood circular
Correct.
thing.
Well, it's a meant to be thing, You broke some spiritual stuff up there,
Yeah.
and that's all kind of meant to be.
So
Um,
so it's B positive, the most optimistic of all blood types, I think.
right. That's great. Steve, how did you actually really, you may have mentioned this, we talked about so many different things, but how did you get involved and interested in film scoring? Because I don't know a lot, but that's one hard thing to do.
So really, it's what got me into music in the first place. And when I started playing flute when I was 7 years old, and I asked my parents I told my parents I wanted to play flute after seeing Peter and the Wolf on TV, a performance of that. So which is kind of a film score type of thing, even though it's a stage play. But when I was at the University of Miami, and I've always loved the music that's been in movies. I mean, like going back to the movies I grew up with. Also, like watching Bugs Bunny and the cartoons had amazing music in it as well. So the kind of like the music that went along with picture was always there. But when I was at the University of Miami, I played in the film scoring ensemble for 4 semesters
Wow.
as one of my ensembles by choice, and we were basically a chamber orchestra that played the graduate film scoring students compositions, and we would come in on Tuesday, and we would read it down, record it the same day, or if it was a longer piece, we would rehearse it on Tuesday and record it on Thursday. And I after college, I took a film scoring course also, but the mathematics of kind of like painting every frame and figuring out like the tempo and starting off with just a blank canvas of you see picture but there's no sound to it, of figuring out what is the tempo and what are the instruments, and solving the puzzles of like what completes this picture and how much do I need to put in, really attracted me. And it's a very deep crossword puzzle, and really gratifying to say, oh, that was exactly what it needed. It just, a whole piano piece was too much, but like a one finger piano melody was just enough.
You said a word there, slightly off topic, but you said the word gratifying. What you do is not Freudian, meaning what you do is not necessarily instant gratification, is it?
No, not at all. And it's the um I mean, I have a lot of gratitude for being able to do what I'm doing right now, and how I'm able to do it. Um, the but seeing the production of the music married with the images, and then seeing that and experiencing with an audience is just really thrilling. It's just like, everyone laughs at the right time and they gasp at the right time, and I know that the music is like, when you see Jaws with no music, it's not scary. It's like, oh, there's a rubber fish there. And when you see what John Williams did with the music, with just the with the low strings, it chills your bones, and have that kind of like um, under the radar effect of the emotion of a film is really is a fun part to be a part of as well.
It's funny, you just said John Williams, which was actually my next question. Who are some of your musical heroes? Uh,
So so John Williams, I mean, like, you have to like love what his the body of work and the big orchestral stuff. A lot of the things that I have been doing so far are kind of like smaller chamber things. So out of the composers that I really grew up listening to, I mean, like Wayne Shorter and Miles Davis and Pat Metheny and Peter Gabriel and Aaron Copland and um, Ravel and Debussy. Those are like really kind of like my guys. But the my real dream is to like to do something that I have like the budget to do with a big orchestra, and conduct an orchestra that's playing my stuff. Would be John Williams style, or something on the scale of what he's done. Would be a real that would be a real life goal.
okay.
It is a real life goal.
Yeah, yeah, it is real. It's funny, you, boy, we were so in sync, you and I. No, we really are. You mentioned Aaron Copland, and he has a piece called Hoedown. Uh, I not often, but every once in a while, I go to YouTube and I listen to Hoedown. Just a remarkable piece of work.
Absolutely. The funny thing about Hoedown is that the first time that I actually heard it was actually Emerson, Lake and Palmer doing a cover of Copland's Hoedown. So that the how I was exposed to it was via Emerson, Lake and Palmer.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Listen, we're talking about Aaron Copland, who's definitely not mainstream, Route 34 here,
Right.
not. But it was just
My
when I heard it a million years ago, it just so resonated with me that the
my my
power.
my my super favorite Copeland piece. I love Appalachian Spring, and I have a recording of Copeland conducting. So it's Copeland conducts Copeland, and that version of Appalachian Spring, sublime. Just
Yeah.
I'm giving myself chills just thinking about it right now.
I'm writing it down because I'll go listen. I will listen to it today. I'm really writing it down. By the way, is this your first time to the you're showing at the Garden State? Is this your first time at the Garden
Yeah,
State Film Festival?
this is the first time showing. I've been to the Garden State Film Festival for the last 2 years and as an attendee, and being that with my kind of like recommitment to writing music for film, I really treat it as my Super Bowl weekend. Like I'm there at the Filmmaker meetup on Thursday. I'm there on Friday for the kickoff where they show a feature and some trailers, and all day Saturday, all day Sunday. And but this year, being able to be at the Garden State Film Festival as a filmmaker, with something, with one of my works there is just I'm just beyond excited about this year and how different it's going to be, just having a filmmaker credential around my neck.
Not only a filmmaker, but there's a scene with you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm the supporting actor
Correct.
of Buddha
There's a
Bottle.
scene.
Oh yeah,
So,
which I didn't plan on being in the film, but
is that right?
it happened.
It was great. What is Buddha Bottle about for
Sure.
folks?
So first of all, I have to give a humongous shout out to my creative collaborator on this. So Peter Harris and I um, uh, co-wrote, co-produced, co-directed the whole film, and the how Buddha Bottle kind of came about in the first place is that I was really excited about the Asbury Park Arts Council's AP&3 Film Challenge, and in um, 2024, I gave the filmmakers a library of my music to use that they didn't. I was not charging anything for it. I was just like, here's 10 songs. They're less than 3 minutes. Use some of my music, and here's how I'd like to be credited. And no one took me up on it. And so I was like, well, I guess next year I'm going to have to make my own movie. And so Peter Harris and his wife Andrea took this great road trip last year, and he did these like video postcards, and they're at the Neon Sign Museum in Cincinnati and the Bob Dylan Museum in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I'm like I want to go to these places now that Peter has like done these like the chambers of commerce should be hiring Peter to do this. So when it came time for the AP&3 Film Challenge last year, um, I was like, I should do this with Peter. Like, we should do like a love letter, a postcard about Asbury Park, because that's really like the spirit of the AP&3 Film Challenge, is to really like honor the place that we all really that we love at the Jersey Shore. That it's a fan favorite uh, beyond the Jersey Shore, but it's our place to go, and we love Asbury Park, everything about it. So it's just there's the music and the food and the people, and just it's just you know a wonderful place to live near.
It is.
And so that's so we decided to make the movie this year.
Okay.
So then um the Asbury Park Arts Council, you have 3 weeks to make a 3-minute film, and it has to be 3 minutes. So they allow you 20 seconds for credits. So we maximize the amount of screen time that we could have. But they don't give you the prompts until August 1st. And they say, well, it always has to be shot in Asbury Park. Had to be specifically Springwood Park, had to be featured in it. You had to use a bottle as a prop, which we decided to make the bottle our star.
Wow.
And so there's the star. And every film had to have the line of dialogue. Now that's a taste of Asbury Park. So there's usually 40 or 50 submissions, and ours were selected as a top 10 film, and so we got screened at the Asbury Park APN3 Film Challenge last November. So now I'm going to answer your question of what it's about. So we so the Buddha bottle goes on an adventure to the Asbury Park beach. Is at the beach. You see him in the funhouse mirror. You see him swinging on a swing. You see him seeing the people walking on the boardwalk and enjoying a beautiful summer day um, in Asbury Park. And then the Buddha bottle is sitting on top of a one of the cabanas on the beach and falls into the sand and gets hopelessly lost and covered by a towel and gets discovered by a musician, which is played by me. And then um, so then the Buddha bottle has a further adventure from there and becomes a hero of Asbury Park. Not to give away the whole film, but the uh, one of the things I will say is that I pop the I pop the bottle into my cooler and drink it on the beach, which you're not really supposed to do, but I drank a beer on the beach at like 7 o'clock in the morning one summer Sunday last week last year. It's it's Hollywood. Things happen. And then the what happens is I wind up using the bottle as a musical instrument in three different ways in the actual score and on screen and actual the score. So I actually use it as a wind instrument by blowing air across it, as a percussion instrument, and also as a guitar slide. So and then you hear those three different ways that the bottle is on stage with my band in Springwood Park in the score.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and then Buddha Bottle becomes a hero of the Asbury Park music scene, in the annals of history with all of the other famous musicians who are either from here or played here.
Yeah. No, it does it pays such homage to this city, Asbury Park. And when I was a little kid, we stayed in Belmar, but every weekend we'd go to Asbury Park. And so as a little kid, it was a part of my life. And of course, in modern times, I've watched Asbury Park evolve, and somebody should write a book about it, the evolution and what it's become now. You can't even get anything that's cheap there to live. I mean, it's and they keep building and building and building.
Oh
It's
yeah.
one of the most remarkable turnarounds
Yep.
of an American city.
Actually, one of the other films that was in the APN3 Film Challenge, it will be at the Garden State Film Festival, and it speaks to that.
Remarkable, remarkable evolution, and
Yep.
and 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 that vacant building. I used to try to justify that. They had started building. I forget what they were building.
But
What was that? A
but
hotel or something?
with the one that turned out to be the Ocean Place.
Yeah, I mean, it was vacant. I don't know for 10 or 15 years.
Oh
Now,
no, it was concrete pilings when I was in high
yes,
school, so it was
yeah.
decades.
Decades. Now because I'm a Jersey guy and I love my state, if I would be taking, this is a true story. If I would like take a cousin, a cousin from Canada came down to visit, they want to go see the Jersey Shore and I take them to Asbury Park and they'd say, "What is that?" And I said, "Actually, that's one of the world's largest pieces of art. It's a sculpture." I actually said that.
Mhm. Yep.
They commissioned this unbelievable artist who made this tremendous sculpture it's called Tomorrow. I made up the whole name. It's Tomorrow. It's funny stuff. I mean, I never said it just stopped. Funny stuff. But so you pay homage. Steve, did anything like funny or interesting happen while you were making the film?
Well, like I said, I wasn't really planning on being on screen for that, and then the way that the screenplay kind of unfolded, then it was just like, well, we need a musician, and I was like, well, we only have 3 weeks to do it, and then but the I hired two professional musicians to be my band, and the morning of the shoot, it was Sunday morning. It was early. They didn't show up. So we waited a little bit. We brought breakfast and we were going to pay them for their time, but they didn't show up. And I call them, nothing. Text, nothing. So I wound up this dad and his two children. They were probably about 5 and 3 years old. Were walking past, going to go get some milk from the convenience store for their breakfast that morning, and we we hired them to be our band, to be my band in the film. So we gave them the money that we were going to pay the musicians. The But so we had to, the family, that the young family that you see in the film. That was one of those things where it's like, the I was supposed to have, a professional drummer and a professional guitar player on stage with me, and each with shots of each of us using the Buddha bottle as, as part of our instrument. But then it wound up that we you know had to improvise, and we have the dad and his two kids, and then Peter wound up being the guitar player.
Okay.
Excuse me. So Peter wound up being the guitar player, and he was also not planning on being on screen, but also wound up being in the film too.
Okay. Hey, there's nothing like being in a movie. Nothing. And I say that from firsthand experience. Not for now, but in 1997, I snuck in to a Meryl Streep movie that she was nominated for an Academy Award, and I am prominently featured in the Christmas scene because I snuck in. I talked to Meryl Streep, and they saw me talking to her, and
Where was that? Where was that you snuck in?
Maplewood. The movie was called One True Thing,
Okay.
Maplewood, New Jersey, 97, 98. I just went to watch them film it, and then they had a break for supper, and it's a period piece. It takes place in the 80s, and my sister and I went to watch them film it because I'm a groupie. Meryl Streep, William Hurt, Renee Zellweger, Carl Franklin, the director. And then they had a break, and it's cold. It was, November. And they allowed people to get a container of milk or a slice of pizza because the whole three-block town was closed. My sister and I went, we got a slice of pizza. We set a New Jersey mastication record. We chewed one slice of pizza for like 2 hours just watching. And then a lot of action and machines making snow. So I said to my sister, let's go watch. We'll go watch. And we went outside, and we are standing actually underneath. It was the Maplewood Theater. It's like an Art Deco type theater, and we're just watching. And I felt there was somebody standing next to me, and I turned and look. It was Meryl Streep and William Hurt, and so I
Amazing.
turned to talk to Meryl Streep, and I'm just saying, what am I? I was all verklempt. What am I going to say? And I'm telling her, gosh, do I love your movies? And I can't believe I'm talking to you. And while I'm talking to her, one of the production assistants sees me talking to her and made the assumption I was part of that entourage. So he came over to me and he said, we got to place you now. So I said, all right, sure. And takes me and puts me right in the middle of the set and says to me, do you know everything you have to say and do? And I said, well, it's been a long day. Why don't you just go over everything again for me? And he does. And when I start shooting, everybody in the town square, sings Silent Night. They turn on the Christmas tree lights. They honor Meryl Streep, who's dying in the movie. And I said, all right, I got it. I'm cool. And when he walked away, I realized I'm going to be in a movie. This is, my dream of dreams. I'm going to be in a movie. But I was in the back. And I said, you know what? I said to myself, I talk to myself sometimes, Steve. I said, Calvin, you're going to be in a movie, but you're in the back. You got this far, go for it. So you actually see me in the movie pushing my way up front. I push my way up front, boom, I'm in a movie. Never got paid, but I'm in a movie.
I love it. I love
Great
it.
story. Yep,
Amazing. I will look that up.
yep. The Christmas
So
scene.
usually those food mastication awards go to people who can eat the fastest.
Yeah, well, this was the slowest. And
I
that, by
I
the way, that's an
I
art
I,
form. To take one slice of pizza, split it in two, and stretch that into an hour and a half, two
I
hours.
love it. Yeah.
It's an hour. It really is an art form. Um, I watched it a few times. Are there any and I love this, and I don't know if you want to say anything, but are there messages in there that maybe you didn't even realize you had?
Well, the one thing that I think about a lot is that the um that and it was not intended at all, but when the bottle is at the beach, it's full of liquid, so it's got the beer in it, and then but it's going about and having a great day, but then you know once the beer is consumed by me, and now the bottle is empty, but now the has a whole different life. So it's like it's kind of like one of those who moved my cheese moments of like, oh well, this is horrible. I was found, but I was put into this cooler, and now I'm being consumed by this person. But then there's this thing happened, but then you reinvent yourself. And what you and I were talking earlier, we talked about all the different ways that we reinvented ourselves in our courses of our lives, and then and then wound up becoming an Asbury Park music legend.
Yeah.
So is the bottle really empty now, or is it really fulfilled, or is it so it's one of those who moved my cheese, and
Yeah.
who when life gives you lemons, you make limoncello.
Right. Yeah. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. I was at that factory in Italy, um, um, not that long ago. You walk
Excellent.
in, you just smell it.
Yeah,
You just, it's a wonderful inhalation, actually.
definitely.
Are you
My
working?
wife makes homemade limoncello
Does
also,
she
so
really?
yes,
Wow.
she has a solid recipe for it. It really is the best.
Okay. Good to
But I,
know.
I want to go to the place in Italy still.
Oh, it's fun. Fun stuff.
I
I
got the
forgot where it is, but I don't know. It wasn't on Sicily. I'm trying to remember where it was. And we were there, and then I don't know. I think we wound up on the coast. I'm trying to whatever.
Well, I'll get it from you at the film festival.
Fine, fine, perfect. Are you working on any particular things now that you want to share?
So other than that, when Rock Wilk starts shooting his next film, I'll be
Okay.
scoring that. But other than that, working on a few different albums of music for pictures I haven't seen yet. So I'm working on a Latin album. I'm working on a hip hop album. I'm working on
Well,
a crime album, and I'm working on uh,
wow.
a tension album. So like tension cues are like a thing for just for tense scenes. So you have to kind of like write with to put some harmonies that clash with each other, and kind of like that Jaws cue.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
you have these production music albums. You kind of like have to like choose like a flavor of that. So like but the Latin album is almost done right now, and so that I'm working with a library that they focus on Latin music, but they didn't want authentic regional music, but they gave me kind of like the beats that they wanted to work with, and I kind of wrote around that.
Okay, okay.
And
Um,
being a flute player, it's been a lot of fun. So during this winter of how cold it's been here, I've been working on some very sunny Latin music.
oh, cool,
Yeah,
cool, cool. Yeah, it has been cold. My wife and I were just talking about it. Now that it's going to be in the 60s, maybe 70s next week, who knows? Winter's gone, the memory's gone. My wanting to go to Florida is gone. All that stuff passes. Now we have a nice climate coming. Excited
yeah,
about that. I have one of my favorite questions. Um, we're going to drift into some of my things. I like this. Excluding family or friends, I may know the answer to this, but maybe I don't. Excluding family or friends, somebody living or dead you'd like to spend a day with.
I think, well, it's either Peter Gabriel or Miles Davis. One of those two. I just the two of them with how much their music has meant to me, and really Miles evolved so many times in his career from from playing um, music that was really indicative of the time, but then he kept on evolving and kept on evolving, and and adapted to electric instruments where other people didn't dare go into. He just showed the artistic courage to just say, forget you guys, I'm going ahead with it. And 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 then the reason why I say Peter Gabriel, I'm sorry for taking two and not choosing just one,
No,
but
no rules.
Peter Gabriel for me, um, he exposed me to music that was not Western music first, and so I was listening to a lot of African music that I had probably I wouldn't have come across until a lot later in life, or just music from Algeria and music from Thailand, and because of his real world music label, and really opened my mind and my ears to other musical possibilities of what was out there. So sorry for taking two.
No, that's fine. You can take 10.
I couldn't decide.
No, there's absolutely no rules. I just shoot from the hip. Um, do you ever do you ever compose something and listen to it and say to yourself, did that come from me?
Yeah, that definitely happens. It's like, you kind of become like, in a vessel for this thing getting out, and then you just like, you rewind and press play, and it's like, oh my God, like I I made that. And I had a lot of those moments in the last year and a half where I'm working on projects and working with collaborators of things, of pieces of music that I couldn't have dreamed that I was working on, because I had the opportunity to work with these other people. I mean, I released I co-wrote a pop song last year that's hasn't been in a movie yet, so maybe that will happen. But she and I are both pitching that into for some different projects. But I mean, I wrote this. It's like almost like a Karen Carpenter slash Sade
Wow.
romantic pop song with my co-writer's name is Katie Tunbridge. It's actually released under her artist name. It's called Carried Away, and we got real it's not just me playing drums
I
with the drum
listened to that,
machine
by the
on it.
way.
What's that?
I listened to that.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep, I did listen to that. My kind of music,
Thank you.
yep.
So and then I had like one of those, we had one of those moments in January this year where it was nominated for an award for this World Entertainment Awards in Hollywood, and Katie had won an award the previous year, and I was like, I should probably go to that. So I went to California, and on the way to
Wow.
California, I'm like pinching myself. I'm like, wow, this is really happening. Like, and so we didn't wind up winning best pop song there, but she submitted some other material and actually won best song in any category for another song that she had written. But it was like, we listened to Carried Away, where we have you know a we really, we sunk some real effort into like hiring musicians, and had it professionally mixed by other people, by the the guy who mixed it has mixed songs that you would know, and and came out with this song was like, but we were like pinching ourselves, like, wow, that actually happened, and it started, right here.
Interesting, interesting stuff.
Yeah,
Um, you blend organic and electronic textures in your music. This is a little heavy, forgive me, but do you see that as a metaphor for the human condition?
definitely, because the and especially coming from it from a wind player's perspective, and where I'm the one breathing life into every note, and like as I'm breathing, and as I'm like I'm forming the note, it's like I feel very connected to that. And then with the electronic parts of it, the way that I put it through different effects pedals, or process, or do some processing, or sample, and you know mangle the sound later on and repurpose it to use in a different way. The genesis of the sound was my lungs. It was me breathing in, me breathing out, and making this sound. So even though that it's an organic sound first, then it becomes an electronic sound later on, and it becomes out into the world. And so it's like um an author like yourself. I mean, you're at your keyboard, but then like, and then you're the you're putting your artistic information into this computer, and then it becomes a different thing. And so much in the same way of, like, just the delivery of the sound, because I really do feel like it's a statement of modern life. So the origination of it is very human and very ancient, but I mean, it's but then it becomes something else, delivered into the 21st century.
Do you, I'm always fascinated with this question.
Love that question.
The question is, do you, what emotion do you find hardest to score authentically? It's a toughie.
It's a toughie.
And if there's no answer, there's no answer. That's fine.
Well, it's um I guess the really to get the sounds of real angst and anger, to really like tap into there, because being a flute or a sax player, like that's not usually in my bag. I mean, I can make it sound angry, ugly, angsty, whatever, but like, that's like when I start going through um my database of people who I would call, is like, oh, well, I need to call my friend Ian for this one, because he's a guitar player, and he plays with distortion, and I know that he can really capture um that emotion for me. So it was like, so I had to ask for help, but to ask for help, you have to like you have to know what you want in the end. So you have to kind of like really think about that. So that one presents the most challenge, because when you I guess when you delegate and when you ask for help, you have to like communicate what it is that you're looking for, and to find the right answer.
Yeah.
The stuff. I mean, the bird sounds I have covered all day.
Okay. Uh, two more questions. When the credit rolls and the audience walks away and stuff, what do you hope lingers in their nervous system from your work?
My uh my my real my hope is that they'll say, wow, this guy really created a world in this, and I really want to work with him. I really want to collaborate with him because you know what, the real, magic of what I've been able to do in the last year and a half is just, collaborating with different people. And when you get together with other artists and share ideas and say, oh, what if we did this, or, could we possibly do that? And it's like, and then you actually do it. I mean, you go back to like that, the gratitude and the gratification of really like achieving something. But I hope I hope they enjoy it, but it's like, but I'd love to have a conversation with people, about, you know how, maybe there's something in there that it makes them feel that it didn't, that I completely missed out on. And
Okay.
so I would love to, to talk with people about that.
Okay. Okay. Last, sometimes I get heavy, so I like to get silly, and I like the whole uh, panoply of emotions, and when I do this kind of stuff. So the last thing, if your life right now was a soundtrack, Steve, what would it sound like? It's a little heavy for the end of
That's
this, and I see you're
Well,
cogitating.
yeah. So there's harmony to it, there's rhythm to it, and there's still upside. It's getting louder, but it's not the loudest it's gonna be yet. Like there's still upside and there's still energy that, it's still climbing. And so to me, it's like, we're not in the final movement of of Beethoven's ninth. We're not we're things are big and bombastic. It's still building towards that, but there's harmony to it, there's rhythm to it, and there's some elements of humor, but there's
Well,
still upside and awesomeness.
cool, very cool. So, by the way, we could go on for a couple more hours easily, but we're not because,
Good thing we weren't limited to 3 minutes and 19 seconds here.
it's funny. When I started doing this, it's so funny. When I started doing this, my son, who works for Scripps TV, and he said, "Dad, don't you dare go over 10 minutes." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Don't go over 10 minutes. You're going to turn people off." So the first few interviews I did 5.5 years ago, I kept it under 10 minutes. And then I was interviewing a woman. She was a researcher at the medical school, Rutgers, Robert Johnson Medical School. She was working with intimate partner violence and stuff, heavy stuff. And as we're approaching that 10-minute mark, I said to myself, she's just like, she's just begun. How the hell could I stop her? And I said to myself, just go. And 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 she talked and talked, and then was born the new 45, 50 minute interview. And my son was disappointed in me. I said, I can't do 10 minutes. And I don't know how you did 3 minutes, because Buddha Bottle could have been an hour. It should have been an hour.
Well,
You
maybe
know,
maybe it's the pilot for
maybe,
for a new series.
maybe. I loved it. And I encourage people, like I said at the start here, it is certainly worth the trip to see this. Just delightful, introspective, uh, upbeat, uh, good stuff.
Thanks. And just, when you mentioned that, I remembered, I didn't talk about Danny Elfman as like one of my musical
Ah,
heroes also, but really the the way the way that we approach this was because there's very little dialogue in the movie, is very kind of cartoon like, and I love that our film is the first of our block, so we're kind of like the opening act. We're like kind of like the cartoon before the feature.
yeah,
So it does have kind of like that old school uh theater experience vibe to it,
absolutely.
which I just love.
Absolutely. And that's what I felt right from the start. You know, it took me right back to the 50s. I just felt that. And your music, and I mean that's what I'm taking away. The great thing about music is everybody takes something, different away. But that's what I was feeling. This was a
Oh,
long time
awesome.
ago.
Love that.
So thank you for your time, your
Thank
passion.
you.
This has
This
been
has been a blast.
It's really a blast. This was great stuff. And you know what? To be continued, because I'd love you to come back anytime. I'm in this chair 12 hours a day. You're in that chair. I'm sure you're in that chair 12 hours a day as well. So we'll come back and BS and stuff. So I wish you much success at GSFF.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. I'm just really excited to be there, and just like the one thing about the film festival is that I really took away from last year was it really felt good to be back in a room full of a couple hundred people laughing about a film. There was this one film that was just my favorite from last year, and it was so unexpectedly funny. Like I knew the filmmaker, but I didn't know anything about the film, and just to be in a room full of people laughing like that, it was
Great.
a very positive human experience. And so, like, I'm looking forward to the film festival this year of being there with finding that one film that just takes you by surprise
Correct.
in the best way.
Correct. I'm amazed. In all the years I've been going there, I'm amazed at the quality of what's coming out. It's quoting Aldous Huxley. It really is a brave new world of the creativity. What's coming out into this world. It's a nice feeling, including Buddha Bottle. It's just so. I mean, really, just so creative, and we really need create human. And watch where I go with this. We really need human creativity these days. Truly. So it's nice to see this as an expression of human creativity and without perseverating on the theme.
Yes,
Yes, and you agree with me. We talked about that.
totally, totally.
Yep. We didn't even touch that subject. It's not necessary. So I'm going to stop recording. Don't leave. We'll
Okay.
do a 2-minute wrap. Well, thank you,
Okay.
Steve. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Calvin. This was a real
That was like
thrill.
Buddha, wasn't it? A little bit?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I thought so.
I,
Okay.
I bow to the Buddha beer inside you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Great.